Hello, and welcome to Social Workers Rise, where we inspire social workers to connect, expand their knowledge, and change more lives than they ever thought possible. We will talk everything social work on every level from micro to macro. We are going to hear stories of social workers who are doing big things, learn new skills, and most importantly, give you actionable steps to make a difference today. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Social Workers Rise. It is your host, Catherine here. Today we're talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness is personally one of my favorite therapeutic interventions because you can use it anywhere, anytime. It is a life skill that I believe literally everybody should know and to have. And it makes my therapist heart really happy to see that a lot of new people are starting to talk about mindfulness and become aware of it and just be more open to it. And that it's not so scary, but it's a way to quickly tap into our nervous system to be able to just bring us back down so that we don't get overwhelmed with anxiety, that we're not so emotionally distraught that it's taking away from the present moment. So many times in my life, I've had anxiety to where I'm constantly thinking, okay, what is the next thing? What do I have to do after this? What is going to be happening next? What if all of this stuff goes wrong? Right? And I found that it takes away from the joy of the moment. And even now, sometimes I'll be, where was I? Oh, the last time I was getting a massage, right? So I go in there with the intention of, okay, this is my hour. I'm really going to be focused here. I'm not going to be thinking about anything else. I'm just going to be in the moment. But sometimes when you are either in the massage or taking a shower, whatever it might be, it's so easy for your brain to just like kind of disconnect, go on its own place, get caught up in this anxiety tornado is what I like to think about it, because when you're there getting a massage, it's so easy to think, okay, when I leave here, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I got to clean my house. I'm going to do this, going to do that, blah, 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 that you're not really enjoying the massage or you're not really enjoying your shower, right? All of these little moments that can help us relax and lower our stress response, we're not using them effectively, right? So we say, oh, do your self-care. But when we're doing the self-care, we're all stressed out. It doesn't help, right? If we're trying to lay down and watch a movie and relax, but our mind is constantly on the go, then it's not going to help. So that is why I just love mindfulness. It's also called meditation. And it's essentially what it is it's focusing your attention and awareness on the present moment. You're really trying to cultivate a place of non-judgmental awareness, and you're trying to get more mental clarity, more relaxation, and just an overall better sense of your emotional well-being. So essentially what mindfulness is it's a specific form of meditation that involves paying attention to the present moment with openness, curiosity, and acceptance, right? It really emphasizes this non-judgmental awareness of thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. So essentially just saying, okay, I'm here, I'm thinking about all of these things, all of these anxieties, all these stressors, but there's no judgment there. It is what it is. Like, these are facts. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking, right? This is my environment. And it really just brings the attention to what's going on around you and even what's going on within yourself, what's going on in your body, in your breath, and observing these thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them, and also practicing self-compassion and essentially being kind to yourself, treating yourself like you would a friend, and just being more kind, right? Because we can be so hard on ourselves, our worst critics. Even for me, doing this podcast, I'm always thinking, okay, I have all these great ideas and I have all of these subjects I'm going to record on, but my house isn't quiet enough, or there's too many cars outside, or there's too many people home and it might be noisy, or I don't look great because now I'm starting to do video podcasts, right? I don't feel like putting on a bunch of makeup and all of these things, all of these judgments about myself, when I just need to really just be present and just accept that this is who I am in this moment. I'm going to do my best, and my best might look different on different days. And that is okay. To be kind to myself, right? Like, you don't have to have the perfect podcast episode to be helpful, but you do have to make the podcast episode to be helpful, right? So for you, a lot of times we judge ourselves in showing up with clients, and it's the same thing, right? Like, we feel like we're not where we want to be, right? We're judging ourselves. We're not really confident in our clinical skills. Maybe we're not really confident in our work with our clients. And so we might find ourselves trying to avoid them, or just being judgmental on ourselves and saying, like, gosh, you have a whole degree. You should know this stuff by now. I know that's what I was thinking to myself. But really just being kind and say, okay, look, you're new to this. You're still practicing, or this is a really, really challenging, really difficult situation. It's common to struggle, right? It's okay. It's okay that you feel nervous, right? Let's work through this. We can get through this, right? So that is why I just love mindfulness. I think it's super beneficial, super helpful, essentially, especially when we're talking about stress reduction and when we want to improve our focus and our concentration. It's also just helpful for emotional regulation so that we don't get caught up in the stressors of everyday life, the anxiety, the fear, right? And it can help us just be overall more mentally well. So it's a super powerful tool. If you want to learn more about this, then I highly encourage you to look up the course, The Clinical Essentials for the Future Therapist, and go from there. And full transparency, I don't know if you heard the background noise, but there was a background noise, and I felt myself getting very irritated that there was noise during the podcast because I just told you about all my insecurities about the podcast. But alas, here we are. I recognize that this was an irritation and nobody's fault, and it happens. So I'm practicing self-compassion that this podcast episode is not perfect and you are witnessing this. So, but we move on, right? We move on and we keep doing our best. So if this episode was helpful for you, go ahead and text it to a friend, share it. Also, if you don't know about me, some of the services that I provide, I do coaching for social workers. I also do therapy. I have courses for social workers. I'm an author, and I also do mental health trainings on one of the topics is effective ways to manage stress, mindfulness. What else do we have? Burnout prevention, conflict resolution for teens. So a lot of different trainings. If you have an event coming up that you need a speaker for, definitely keep you in mind. I love to do activities with my audience, get them engaged, and have them just experience something new instead of just spewing information at them. I like to engage them and have a more experiential learning type of environment for them. So with that said, I thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to another episode of Social Workers Rise. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe and text this episode to a friend. If you want more, there are a few ways we can get to know each other and work together. First, definitely subscribe to the Friday resource email list. The link is in the show notes. And that's where you can learn more about the courses I offer, including Clinical Essentials for the Future Therapist and the Pulse Basics for Medical Social Workers. I'll also be sending out occasional tips and resources and other happenings within the social work industry. And for all your clinical supervision needs, be sure to visit risedirectory.com. This is a national directory of clinical supervisors for social workers, and we also provide free resources that you can use within your own clinical supervision. Lastly, if you have more individualized needs, I do offer coaching, individual consultations, and am available for public speaking engagements for social workers and change makers. Lastly, the boring legal stuff, but very important. The information in this podcast is not meant to be a supplement for therapy, professional advice, or clinical supervision. This content is provided as is solely for informational purposes. It is not legal, health, or safety advice. I am not advising you as a therapist. Organizations should engage their own experts to ensure any adopted measures are compliant with applicable laws and standards in their jurisdictions. The opinions expressed by individuals or organizations are their own and do not reflect the views or opinions of Social Workers Rise or Catherine Moore. References to specific products or organizations do not constitute any endorsement or recommendations by Social Workers Rise.